it's Morgan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited because my roommate just moved out. Well, I'm not excited about that. I miss her. But I'm excited that I now live to myself and I have a whole extra room that I can do whatever I want with. And it's the first time in my life that I've had a space, like a actual space to decorate the way that I want. So I'm going to have a cooler background. I'm super excited. You can't really tell, but like literally where the camera is where my bed is. Like this room is tiny, so there was really not much space and I kind of crammed everything together. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a new cool backdrop for 2019. Yeah, that's a side note. Anyway, all right, so for today's video, I'm doing my top 3. And this was a meme that was going around on the internet and people were replying on social media, you know, saying, ask me my top 3 and I'll respond. And I actually saw Andrea Heckler, who I've been following for a really long time. She did a video response and I thought, that's such a cool idea. I'm gonna do the same thing. So here I am. I asked some of you on Instagram to just send me some questions for my top 3 that you wanted me to give you my top 3 answers to, and you did, so thanks. Now I'll give you my answers. Top 3 places you've ever traveled to. So this one's hard. Oxford, I would definitely say Oxford. That's my favorite city that I've ever lived in, ever traveled to. I love it. I would go back. Oh, I love it. I miss it so much. And then probably Scotland. Scotland was really cool. And then if particular cities in Edinburgh and Scotland. And then I think Iceland is gonna be my 3rd one because Iceland was really cool. Like just seeing the glaciers and all the nature, the hiking and the waterfalls and the little nature trails. It was a gorgeous place. So those are my top 3. Next is your favorite characters. Like, I guess these are favorite characters of all time. This one's hard because, like, I feel like I should say Frodo because Frodo was my favorite character from when I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 until I was 25, 26. Harry Potter, same thing. He meant a lot to me when I was younger, but not as much now. I'm just not feeling as connected to them as I was when I was much younger. So now Charles Xavier is another one I've talked about a lot on my channel. I still love Charles Xavier. He's probably my top 3. I'm gonna put him as maybe number 3. And then number 2, I've been on a Buffy kick, so like I want to say Buffy, but I don't want 2 of my top 3 favorite characters. So I'm gonna skip up to number 1 and say that my number 1 favorite character right now is Andrew Wells from Buffy, which you probably already know if you've seen any of my recent videos that I recently rewatched Buffy. I got obsessed with Andrew. I read the comics. I love Andrew in the comics. I love him in season 7, at the end of season 7. In season 6, I think he's funny, but he's not admirable at all, and he's not my favorite in season 6. You know, he's just kind of like, Andrew, yeah. My favorite characters, yeah, I would say it would be probably Andrew and Buffy, and then Charles Xavier. And the next question someone else sent is top 3 favorite Buffy characters. So Andrew, Buffy, and then number 3 is either a tie between Anya or Willow. I feel like Anya is so funny. I like watching her all the time, but Willow, I just love her character arc and everything about her, and she means a lot to me. So Willow was my favorite when I first started watching the show, and then it was Anya. But Buffy's pretty solid. Like, Buffy is a cool character. So I don't know. Yeah, the 4. I have a hard time. I just, like, I don't even say, you know what, is it weird if I say that Andrew isn't in one of my favorite Buffy characters, but he is my all-time favorite character? I feel like there's something wrong with that logic, but when I think of, like, Buffy characters, I think of, oh, Buffy, Willow, and Anya, because they were my favorites for so long, and they still are. And then when I think of all-time favorite characters, I think of Andrew, but, like, I just, he, like, expands the Buffy universe. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The next favorite character question was your favorite villains. This is really hard because I don't like villains. And I know those of you who've been watching my channel are like, but Morgan, you cosplay Loki. And yeah, I cosplay a lot of redeemed villains. I like redeemed villains. I didn't actually like Loki until Thor Ragnarok. And I know he doesn't really get a great redemption arc. And I thought he was kind of funny, but he's the most villainous character that I cosplay. I also love Regina from Once Upon a Time, but again, I didn't like her until she started to get redeemed. I'm not a fan of like evil, but I love heroes who had like this dark past and they struggle to be good, and gray characters are cool too. So like that's why it's hard, because I would say Loki and Regina, but I don't actually like them when they're villains. Like actual villains that I'm like, this is a cool villain, I appreciate them for a character arc, my answer would be very different. Because I would probably say Magneto. He's not one of my favorite characters, but I think he's a fascinating villain. Um, I hate Umbridge, so maybe Umbridge. It's like, she's the one that I love to pick on the most, that I hate the most. Can it be my top 3 most hated villains? That would be different. I don't know. Warren from Buffy, again, I hate him. Same with Umbridge, but I think like I love what he represents, and then I don't love toxic masculinity, but I love that the writers chose to make a villain that represents that. Same as like Stryker and X-Men 2. Like, there are villains that I absolutely hate because they represent things in real life that are real issues, and yeah. But if we're going by like characters that I like that are maybe a little bit grayer, a little bit more villainous, then it would probably be Loki, Regina, and Faith from Buffy. So Loki from comics, Marvel, Loki from Marvel, and then Regina from Once Upon a Time, and then actually maybe Zuko from Avatar. I don't know. That's hard. Both of those questions are really hard. But somewhere in there, I think you got 3. You got more than 3. So there we go. The hardest cosplays to make. I kind of divided them up, these questions, by the way, based on like categories. So we just went through kind of general ones, fictional characters. Next is hardest cosplay to make. And these are the cosplay questions. My hardest cosplay to make, I think it was Ragnarok Loki. I don't know if it was, yeah, it was definitely Ragnarok Loki, because I remade the armor like 3 times and it's still not great. I didn't know what I was doing, but I made the entire cosplay from scratch, except I think the pants. I had the pants, which I did alter and I added to it, but I used like a base pants, so I didn't completely make them from scratch, but everything else was from scratch. It took a really long time. I love it. It is amazing, but I took a lot of time and a lot of work, and that was also the one where I was like, yeah, I like going to cons and I like dressing up, but I don't love the whole production part of it as much. I just don't enjoy it as much, so I'm trying to buy more and do more commissions, and like actually I really like altering things, like finding fitted clothes that look nice and then personalizing them or customizing them to look like a character. That's what I'm trying to do more of cosplay wise. Oh, but there were 3. Okay, so that Loki is number 1, and then 2 and 3 would be, what other ones have I had a hard time with? Regina from Once Upon a Time. I'm still not 100% happy with the way that turned out, but I did hand make a whole dress, and that was way back when. And then I think I would actually say Charles Xavier from X-Men First Class, because I went with a group and everything had to match. In the group, we had to all make sure that we bought the same thing, and we kind of had to stay on track when we bought everything. Again, that one I made a really long time ago, so I feel like I might have made more challenging ones, but at the time that was really challenging for me, if that makes sense. It's like, you know, when you first learn how to cook and you make an apple pie and it seems really hard, and then after you've been baking for a long time, you're like, oh, that's easy, but because it was the first time ever, it was hard. Anyway, I did make an apple pie for Thanksgiving, and people at work asked me if it was poisoned. But then they ate it anyway, and they didn't die, so it was fine. Next is favorite cosplays. Okay, so there were a few of these. So I have favorite cosplays, and then I also had favorite characters that you cosplay. So for favorite cosplays, I'm gonna say, like, I love the outfit itself. And I think for that, honestly, I mean, I think Thor Ragnarok Loki, I'm super proud of that. I'm also really proud of my Agent of Asgard Loki, because I got to do the scale mail and I did commission that jacket, and I love the way that it turned out. So, but I don't know if that would be one of my favorites. I don't know. Loki from Thor Ragnarok, I'm super happy with how that turned out. I love the pictures. I love everything about the way it looks. I don't know how much more I'm gonna wear it to cons, just because it's so hot and sweaty and I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I kind of value comfort more than I did a little while ago. But yeah, so I would say that one, and then I would say Edward Elric, just because it is so easy to throw on and take off, and it like feels like I'm not wearing a costume, but I am. And then all these little kids come up to me and they get really excited, and I get to talk about Fullmetal Alchemist, which I love, and Ed was like one of my favorite characters as a teenager, so Edward Elric, I love that costume. Okay, so the next one is the favorite characters you cosplay. So I'm taking this as, of all the characters that I cosplay, forgetting about my cosplays or how I feel in them, like just which characters are my favorite, that would be obviously Andrew and Buffy and Charles, so the same 3 that I already said. But I'm gonna say, aside from those, yeah, Zuko, Harry Potter, and George Weasley. Dream cosplays. So my whole life, my biggest, not my whole life, but from even before I knew what cosplay was, I think my biggest dream cosplay was to do a really good Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. And I wanted to kind of do like a gender bent Frodo. I still really want to do that. So that's probably my #1 dream cosplay. It's not always on my list, but it's high up there. I want to do Andrew Wells from the comics right now because I do the movie version, a version from season 7, but I have not done him in the comics, and he has this one mashup superhero outfit that he wears to battle, where it's like Captain America's shield and the Punisher vest and Iron Man gloves, and I love that. That's actually my work icon at work. Like at work we have a work chat where we send important messages to each other, sometimes funny, but sometimes important, and like literally my icon for that is that picture. So yeah, that's kind of gives you an idea of who I am in the workplace. I think that would be really fun to do, and even if it's not recognizable, it looks kind of cool, so it's like, that's cool. And then another dream cosplay, I really want to do an Amazing Girl Harry Potter. Like that's another one, because I think Harry was just my icon for so long, and I identified with Harry, and I always felt like, you know, I was a girl Harry, so like a way to express that would just be really cool. And I've seen some really cool ones on Instagram, and I'm always like, one day, I think I'm gonna do that at LeakyCon this year. Moving out of the cosplay category into just some other generic ones, we have desserts. So my top 3 favorite desserts are definitely chocolate chip cookies, that's #1. Reese's Cups, not Reese's Cups, I actually don't like Reese's, but I like the dark chocolate peanut butter cups that other brands make, or sometimes like you can get them naturally. I love those. And then my 3rd one would probably be, I really like Victorian sponge cakes. That's more popular than England than it is here. Or tea and scones, like the scones with the clotted cream. Does that count as a dessert? If that counts as a dessert, then that would be my 3rd one. Next is your favorite types of pie. Thank you, Susie, for this one. I was like, this is so specific. I'm not a big pie person, but I like pumpkin pie. I like apple pie. There's probably another kind of pie that I like. Is there like a vanilla pie, a cream pie, just pie with whipped cream? Can I say pumpkin pie and then also frozen pumpkin pie? Because there's like an ice cream pumpkin pie, and I really like that one for Thanksgiving and stuff. Next is your favorite, or your top 3 books that you've read so far this year. That would be Carry On, and These Witches Don't Burn, and I Wish You All the Best. And then next is top 3 books that you're looking forward to reading. Red, White, and Royal Blue is in the mail, and I'm super excited for that one. Hot Dog Girl is also in the mail, and I'm excited for that. And when the sequel to Carry On comes out, that would be Wayward Son. I'm really excited to read that one as well. Next is TV shows. So I guess these are your top 3 TV shows of all time. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Psych. I'm tempted to say 24 because I was obsessed with 24 for a while, but I'm not going to say 24 because I haven't rewatched it in a while and I don't love it. So my 3rd one would be hard because there's so many that are really close. You know, Angel is pretty close. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is pretty... Actually, I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is my 3rd favorite, at least right now. That's my 3rd favorite one. Unless we're counting Netflix things like Stranger Things, because I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. So if Netflix counts, then Stranger Things goes in that 3rd spot. If not, then Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Next is Marvel movies. This is difficult. Thor Ragnarok is 100% #1, and then I have a lot that are tied for #2, including Spider-Man Homecoming, the Ant-Man movies, Black Panther, Captain Marvel's not quite up there with all the others. I can't pick between the other ones. I think, but I really like comedies. I also love Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think if I had to pick 3, it would be Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Final question, last one, is top 3 things on your bucket list. So I don't actually have a bucket list. I did have one when I was in college, and I checked every single thing off. So not in order, but 3 things that I really want to do is I want to get a book published, like traditionally published. I would like to write for a TV show. I would love to do that. And then I would actually like to be on a TV show or maybe on a film set, maybe a movie, maybe a TV show. I don't know. I want to, like, even if I just have one line, I want to be able to be like, I was in that. That would be pretty cool. All right, well, that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you have any other top 3s that you want to ask me for, feel free to leave some more suggestions down below if you want to see another video like this. If I get enough, maybe I'll make one at some point, or I'll do it again next year. If you hear the cat, he just decided he wanted to lick the camera. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.